Years ago, we used to just head out the door and never think about the weather. We'd be driving across town and it would start to snow, and we'd think, "Oh, wow, it's snowing." Maybe we'd slow down and practice what used to be called driving for conditions. Today, we're warned days ahead of time that a massive killer snowstorm is headed our way, and we better just stay home for our own protection. When when did when did this happen to us, and how did we get in this strange place? We headed out in our lives in the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And somehow we ended up taking a detour and ended up in a place that seems more and more like a dead end. Welcome to Illinois Bridging Awareness. I'm Stanley Smith at Illinois Bridging Awareness. We're navigating our way out of this dead end and back into the land of the living. And we're doing that by being in conversation with each other, listening to ourselves, and hearing others. Recently, I had the pleasure of speaking with Leslie Dimsberger. In that conversation, naturally, the topic of Marianne Williamson came up. Leslie shared a quote from Marianne, and the sentiment of that was basically that it's not our job to be less than who we are so that others can exist. It's the scarcity model, and we all can see how that's working out. It's the idea of denying everything we need to be just so other people can exist, and denying who we need to be and not being our entire selves. And when we do that, we fail to be the light in the world that we need to be. The last couple of weeks, I've been we've been discussing the idea of being awake, aware, and taking action. And I've also suggested the topic of the secret ingredient, but we haven't quite gotten to the secret ingredient part yet. As I've thought more about being awake, aware, and taking action, I've suspected that for many of us, the awake part is really about being angry. We all have a lot to be angry about, disappointed about, discouraged about. And these are natural reactions to everything a lot of us have been through. When when we're all asked to be less than who we are, we can feel thwarted in our potential, especially when we feel we're thwarting ourselves. As I've thought about it, it's occurred to me that during this journey, we've migrated from the intention of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness to fear and anxiety. The secret ingredient in that equation is control. We've somehow lost our life, lost our freedom, and our happiness. And control has replaced happiness in the process. And because none of us have control, it's incredibly anxiety producing. Each week, we have the pleasure of listening and talking to so many different people. And Jim Downs often joins us and shares his word analysis from his positive qualities chart. And this week, he sent me a distilled down version of the positive qualities in the essential positive qualities. And that boils down to the essence of truth, beauty, and goodness, which are values propositions. This directly relates to what Marianne Williamson was talking about. Being all that we can be is a values proposition. Of course, we live in a time when values proposition is under direct attack because somehow everything we are immediately makes us guilty of not being something else. Somehow our version of being who we are somehow negates someone else's version of who they need to be and everything they need to be. It's a Hegelian dialectic argument. That's where the pursuit of happiness got lost somehow. The pursuit of happiness is something I'd much rather be engaged with instead of being in an argument. After reviewing Jim's chart, it occurred to me that we probably could create a negative qualities chart. And sad to say that that would be pretty easy to do because most of us are living that every day of our lives. As soon as we get up in the morning, we check out Signal our telegram, our email, and text, and we make our choices based on all of that. On the call, I've been trying to make the case that good and evil are codependent, like hot and cold, man and woman, right and wrong. It's just how we think. Everything is an either or proposition. I recently saw the film Everything Everywhere All at Once, and this idea is explored in this film. Even though good and evil may be codependent, we can see that good can exist on its own, but evil really needs the good to exist. In this paradigm, it is necessary for us to withdraw and be less than we are in order for something else to exist. The good must withdraw for evil to exist. In this time of Lent, we're reminded that that's exactly what Christ did. He withdrew from the world so that we could exist in all of our craziness. People have been existing in this paradigm for almost 2,000 years now. We all wonder what it would be like in the resurrection and what that would look like and feel like being raised from the dead. As we emerge from the pandemic narrative, we are getting an inkling of what that might look and feel like, seeing ourselves as not so perfect, not always right about everything, and feeling the pain, discomfort, fear, and anxiety of emerging from our grave. As difficult as it might be, we should not cower during the snowstorm. We should not withdraw at this time. None of us should be less than who we are so that nothing can exist. It's a losing proposition. And who wants to be in an argument with nothing? We don't need a shovel, a snowplow, or a bucket of salt to figure this one out. I'm looking forward to continuing the conversation with Leslie and everyone else this Saturday. Leslie will be joining us in the 9 o'clock hour to talk about her spiritual journey, and also in the 10 o'clock hour to talk about elementary school education. If you would like to join us on the Saturday call is every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time on Zoom. I will include my email in the description of this video, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.